I'm going to pull back the curtain for YouTube. If anything goes wrong in this video, this is my first time streaming this. I've got my countdown. I need to. I've had the audio muted on the YouTube feed, but I'm just worried that I'm gonna forget to turn it back on when I go live. Hopefully, I'll hear Ecamm's little alerts. Let's see. Chat. I've got this here. Put that there. Maybe I'll put it here. Hopefully I don't miss anything. It's a good crowd today. It's been a couple of really quiet weeks. I'm even seeing a couple of people on YouTube. So right, I'm going to hide back behind my thing and mute again. Hello and welcome to Squares TV Application Lab number 22. I do these every week on after hours, but for the first time I'm putting this out on YouTube. I'm also running this through some sort of beta alpha-ish software that might drop out for a few seconds here and there, and I just have to like just quickly start it again. And I'm pushing the sound through it as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I'm sort of playing with fire a bit there. Did you like my new countdown timer, by the way? That was a metal shader that I wrote last week. So we talk about Shoot, which is lets you use your phone as a webcam. We talk about Beat Sheet, which is how I'm running this show, and it sort of remote controls Ecamm Live, OBS, and just helps you sort of get on top of a more complicated live stream. Hi to John, I see you in YouTube chat. And Video Pencil, which lets you draw on your iPad. You can. So I can just draw and I can go live titles, and it will put that stuff into the live stream. And so that's what we're talking about. So questions on those things, and I'm putting this out over the Beat Sheet channel because that's, I think, where I'm pulling things together in future. So yeah. So the first thing, like if anyone does have anything they want to cover, either stick something in chat or stick your hand up in Zoom. There is a Zoom call alongside this. Yeah, we're going to talk about audio monitoring, some stuff I've been doing on audio monitoring for the future. I've been doing a lot on the Stream Deck plugin for BeatSheet Studio, and I just wanted to give a little update on timelines for BeatSheet Studio. So, audio monitoring. I've been working very hard on this, and it is starting to come together. There's been sort of developer programmer whiplash as I go between sorry, I'm getting distracted by chat. That's the dangers of having chat there. Which I'm having to switch between sort of quite easy to use Swift frameworks, like modern stuff that Apple have made easy to use for the iPhone, and back to these C-based sort of Mac OS frameworks that have been around for 20 years or something. I mean, some of them maybe not. So they're sort of maybe a little bit easier, but I keep going, this should be easy. And then it turns out to be horribly complicated. But I'll just show you, I'll try and show you what we've got. So BeatSheet Studio, this is BeatSheet Studio. So I've got my camera preview here, and then I've got, this is what's my next card, what I'm talking about down here. This comes through to my teleprompter. But here, if I click on audio, I have the audio metering here. So let's see if we can try and keep this on screen. I'm sort of using my iPad to center that. So if down here, so on the left, We've got, so it's just docked here. It's compact on the left. It's just got the inputs on the left, and it's got the outputs on the right, and it's got some real-time metering, which is reassuring style metering. Like I just want it to be green, but it's not your grandma's metering. It's not RMS. It's not peak. It's LUFS based. So so what you do is you select your primary input just from a drop down there, and it gets selected. And you can add new inputs by clicking this button here. You see it's doing my display. I'm not monitoring the display, but I could add another audio input. Say if I wanted to play some music on the screen, and that just comes in here. And if I share a window, then that will also get an audio stream. And that is using a sort of 1 or 2 year old Apple framework that gives you you don't have to do any weird like Audio Hijack Pro stuff. You don't have to like disable system protection stuff to make that work. It just like works officially on Apple stuff. So we can get proper audio streams from Windows. So hopefully hopefully it all comes together. Hi Tim, good to see you. Yes, I'm broadcasting through Ecamm, but it's basically just taking a camera feed from BeatSheet Studio and the audio feed from BeatSheet Studio. So any transitions, any stuff I'm putting on the screen, any screen sharing, that's all actually being done through this app, BeatSheet Studio. And Ecamm is basically sort of in charge of putting the feed live, and I can see chat and things like that. So yeah, metering is something. So I wanted it to be sort of unassuming in terms of metering, but now when we click on here, we see like here is proper LUFS metering. And I've been sort of keeping an eye on the Ulean plugin to make sure that the numbers that are coming through are actually correct. I found something that let me sort of analyze an audio signal and get the LUFS, the sort of loudness, industry standard loudness monitor, instead of like the problematic skewed RMS or other monitoring styles. So you got your sort of big boy LUFS meter, you got your momentary, which is so how this breakdowns, you don't really need to understand it. Just sort of be around this level, and you're probably okay. Momentary is the white is this line that's moving in real time. The max you see is there, goes to there, and then you've got your short term, which is sort of this triangle. So if I stop talking for a minute, it'll sort of gradually drop down. And then you can see the max of that short term, but it just gives you a sort of instant, real quick, sort of understanding of your audio levels in a way that is a bit more sort of professional, I think. You can mute, you can unmute, and you can toggle headphone monitoring per input. And then you've got, so this is like and then if I disconnect and reconnect, and I'm back. So I would have lost audio then. Headphone monitoring. So you can select where you want to be monitoring. You can mute that. I can now hear myself. There's a very slight delay, but it's certainly good enough for me to quickly check that my mic levels aren't like horribly distorted or anything like that. So I can just hit this little hello, and you can see it's giving me a meter there, so that I just know something's going out. And I can per source, I can just say, okay, I don't want to hear that. So now in my headphones, I'm not hearing it, and now I am. Now I'm not. So that's the audio monitoring stuff. And then next to that, we have this virtual mic output. So this is a system microphone that is what you will be bringing into Ecamm Live or OBS or Zoom. It's basically, I'm sending this to Zoom. I'm sending it to Ecamm Live. The output of this virtual mic. It's going to just be, you'll just install it by going output virtual mic, install virtual mic, and the same with the camera extension. I've got like a startup screen, like a welcome screen as well, where I'll sort of make sure that you've got all your stuff set up initially. Hi, John Michael Melendez as well. I just wanted to sort of throw that in. Right, plugging and unplugging inputs. I wanted to make sure that was, because sometimes it's a bit scary. Sometimes you'll come back to something and it's like changed your microphone, and suddenly you did a whole live stream on the Mac, the built-in MacBook Pro mic or something instead of your nice expensive Rode. I'm going to do a little bit of a thing here. So I'll go quiet. I'm going to unplug the hardware. Okay, are we back? Can you hear me? Are we here? Yeah, okay. I it's very useful having live titles for this situation. But yeah, like as I said, this is sort of alpha software. Thank you, Zoom, for letting me know, and chat. Like that's really good to have a few people who've got my back. But yeah, I just unplugged some stuff and plugged it back in. But well, that's the story. That's the design of that, and obviously, like it still needs a bit more testing. So we'll it's this is why it's alpha still, and only I'm using it. And if it goes wrong, what do? I quickly rebuild it in Xcode and it comes back. So this is actually in being debugged right now. So yeah, if a device is, and then the monitoring story is, yes, the monitoring story I think is also important. So what are we looking out for with monitoring? We don't want someone to like suddenly get deafened by feedback. So we want to be very cautious about whether we turn on this audio monitoring. If we know, so what I do is if it's the preferred source, then I'll remember your setting. But it will switch to like the next available source if it doesn't find that, but it will be muted. So it's not quite as cumbersome to sort of switch your monitoring, but you'll be able to just it won't like suddenly, if your headphones got unplugged, it wouldn't just suddenly start blasting feedback at you. It would just sort of mute that output if it had to switch it. And then the output, these monitoring. So this has got a volume control as well. This is this is my headphone volume, so I can quickly access that now. This actually does set the system volume output. So if I move that, you'll see. Will we see it? I don't know. Well, it's supposed to anyway. Oh no, because this is a different. Yeah, well, this is Ecamm Live. If I went to external headphones, we would see that this is adjusting this. Yeah, so you can just about see that. Can you even see that sound in menu? Yeah, you can't see the sound menu, can you? Anyway, I was just showing you that this will set the system sound menu, and it will also do it for the input. Because I think, like, I've often, I'm about to go live on a podcast, and I'm not quite sure if the like there's weird stuff that can happen. Like if you're on a Google Meet call, it can actually go in and start adjusting your mic input. So we had that on a podcast for a while. It was like, why is my volume changing? So just to have the hardware input here is quite important. To make sure that we have control over that input, because other apps can touch it, and that is because I did experiment with sort of like having the input and then setting the volume sort of internally in an internal mixer, but that kind of that then you're sort of like losing if suddenly if your system volume's got turned down and you're like ramping it up, and then suddenly your system volume gets turned up, then you get deafened next time you listen to it. And so I think it's important that both of those are the system volume, and again that's some extra hoops for me to jump through to make that work. But I've done this enough that I'm like, that's just how I want it to behave. So I'm sort of like designing my perfect sort of like going live, having meetings, doing product demos, all the things that you're doing with my apps. I want you to have that confidence. And we've got I haven't done this yet, but we've got the teleprompter window. I am going to like pin the audio meters to the bottom of that, so it's just right in your eye line. Although I've got to make sure that I don't have a bug where the virtual mic meter is going, but the actual system output isn't going. So we've got a few things to fix still, but this is the vision of it. So that's the audio stuff that I've been working on. I made some really good progress. It's been quite painful, but it's just so important. And I'm really pleased to have some nice UI now. Like I was sort of fantasizing about my own sort of like LUFS meter, and I was looking at the design of Logic Pro, and just looking at how they do audio meters and what the markings are on those meters, and do we push above 100% or like above 0 dB, and so you can get a boost. That's something I think I probably will sort of build into that input fader. It can push the system volume up to max, but then you can give it a little internal boost as well. I think that will be quite useful depending on your situation. and it will just sort of mark that clearly on the thing. So anyway, that's the audio stuff. Next up, I was going to tell you about my Stream Deck plugin that I've been working on. Stream Deck. So BeatSheet has had a Stream Deck plugin for a while, but it's been pretty bare bones. And under the hood, basically all it was doing was like launching BeatSheet with the URL. And I don't know if you noticed, you may have noticed that to start with, it would bring it into the foreground, the app into the foreground, which wasn't always what you wanted if you're in the middle of a screen share. But I dug into the Stream Deck SDK properly and spent a lot of time on that Stream Deck plugin. I've had a sort of quite an intense day of it, and I did it on Friday. Well, no, that was audio on Friday, but like yesterday I got really into it, and then this morning I got really into it. And it's just quite complex, but I think what you'll see, the results, if this takes us back to the display. Right, so let me pull up the Stream Deck app and try and give that some space. So here's the maybe we come out a little bit. This is, can I make this sort of big and wide so that it just covers the background behind me? Okay, so this is Stream Deck app, and we've got our things. We've got, I've got my Ecamm Live ones, and sort of scrolling down, and now we have, this is, well, I have BeatSheet, which actually finally has its icon on the right name. So next, back, start, stop, clear. But BeatSheet Studio has an awful lot more. So I need to sort of make these in the right order. But the first thing is that it's got the it's got lots more shortcuts. But the next thing is it's got so it's got these the forward, back, next. It's got the clear button, so that if you are screen sharing, if I hit clear now, it will just like come out of the desktop and like just bring me back to full camera. Start, stop, forward, back. But then we've got some video pencil ones. So stuff like, if I want to select the erase tool, I can drag that in, and now I've got a button on my Stream Deck which selects the video pencil erase tool. If I want the lasso tool, like I can I can bring that in, and that's just a button on my Stream Deck now. I've got like toggle live titles, I've got, so, and then you sort of undo drawing, and then if there's a video playing, so all the stuff that you may have seen in the sidebar of Video Pencil Camera, all of those shortcuts are now, they're in BeatSheet Studio, and they're sort of properly built into the Stream Deck, which means you don't have to like set up website shortcuts for everything anymore. It will just be here. And then beyond these basic kind of sources, oh, a preview. Beyond these, oh, that was great. Like I just switched to a window, and then when I pressed back, it went to the thing I was previously sharing, which meant it had to sort of like backtrack through the timeline to do that. So BeatSheet Studio just paid for itself then. Although it did reset the zoom. Let's come in. So what I'm trying to show you is it's not just static things now. We've got a select camera shortcut. So if I put that in, I've now got a little drop down here for the camera source. So all the camera sources that are connected to my computer, I can make a button. That's FaceTime camera. If I tap this, it's going to switch to, it's going to switch to, if I come out of demo mode and come up here, it's switched to my FaceTime camera. And if I hit USB video, it will come back to the main camera. If I just come back into here now that I've exited, I need like an unabort button, and go back into demo mode so that you can just see my camera there. So Tim just asked, do we go through Stream Deck's market? Oh, I should pin this, shouldn't I? How do I do that? Pin, add to broadcast. Tim asked, do we go through Stream Deck's marketplace to get the shortcuts? Currently, this is not available. This is this is new stuff. This is bleeding edge, an app that I'm working on. The BeatSheet Studio plugin. The BeatSheet plugin is the much more simple one, and to install that, you do it through the app menu. So it's exactly the same as Ecamm Live. We just go up to BeatSheet Studio. If you can see this, install Stream Deck plugin is is just a menu item, and that will just install the plugin. So that is in BeatSheet as well. Yeah, but the new stuff. I'm literally showing you stuff I've been working on today. So this isn't out yet. BeatSheet Studio isn't out yet. BeatSheet is out. You can sort of do it all with a combination of BeatSheet and Video Pencil Camera, but you need to sort of right click on things in Video Pencil Camera and like paste them into different website. And I've got tutorials on that. But this is the sort of next generation of all this. The other thing I've got is that I'm quite excited about is like I've got the select pen, and if we select so you've got your 5 pens in Video Pencil, so pen 1, but if I select it, it actually shows. So this matches the pens that I have on my Stream Deck, on my Video Pencil. So I've set up the colors of the different pens and the thicknesses, and so they look a certain way in Video Pencil. But what you'll see on your Stream Deck is that image, that the right pen. So when you look at your screen share, you want your red pen, you just tap your red pen. So that was probably the most complicated thing to figure out how to do. So I'm going to do the sort of Apple, like, oh, look how much effort I put into this sales pitch of this, and just say, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what this all involved. You feel free to tune it out if it turns into white noise. But basically, what I've got, the sort of anatomy of a Stream Deck plugin. You've got first, you need a manifest, which is a list of all the commands that your Stream Deck, all the different buttons it's got. But there's sort of like quite a lot of code to each one of those. It's quite repetitive and like hard to see the right bit of code. So I don't want to edit that by hand. So I made an app that generates that manifest based on the communication protocol I have between my apps. So it goes, hey, okay, I've registered all of the buttons that are available so that BeatSheet and Video Pencil know about them, and Video Pencil Camera, and I can just sort of iterate through that list of things and turn that into the manifest that sits on. Turns that into that text document. Then what I also do is I dynamically generate images for each button as well, because I just, like I've got a certain style, so you don't necessarily, there's a certain like image style that I've developed for these apps. So I'm generating those images. And then we've got like the Stream Deck plugin has 2 parts. It has like the part that sits, it's got the plugin part, which I need to bring this closer so that I'm still near the mic. You've got it's got a client that can connect to BeatSheet, and then BeatSheet Studio has a Stream Deck client. Basically, that just kind of sees what cameras are connected to BeatSheet Studio. It's also connected to it's also connecting to the iPad, right? And so the iPad's going, okay, I've got these controls. It tells the Stream Deck client on BeatSheet Studio, and then the BeatSheet Studio Video Pencil client sort of finds out about it here. And then like when you press so that's how it knows what these things are, so that when you most of the time the button just does one thing, but some of the time the button does, has a little drop down next to it. So that's called a property inspector. So if I want to make a property inspector, I have to make a web page for that property inspector. I have to make some JavaScript for that. And then that JavaScript connects to the plugin. So I've got my Swift code, I've got my JavaScript code, and I've got my HTML that goes into here. So the iPad tells the BeatSheet Studio tells Stream Deck plugin that's running inside the Stream Deck app, and then the plugin sends to this little web page. When you select a button in the Stream Deck editor, it loads up this little web page, and then it's found out from the iPad what the different images are for the buttons. It's found out from the Stream Deck like what the different video sources are. So it's like, and then debugging it means like for this you can sort of like copy the files over and they'll be there when you refresh, and there's a web JavaScript debugger. But then for the plugin you have to sort of like quit Stream Deck, relaunch it, and then sort of like you can debug into the Swift code to sort of see what's happening there. So sort of like figuring out that workflow, figuring out how it also fits together, figuring out some of the stuff that wasn't so clearly documented, digging through other people's Stream Deck plugins. Like I've had a look at Ecamm's code, I've had a look at OBS's code, just to sort of see what they were doing. I've structured it my own way. I like the way I've structured it. But yeah, so it's been quite a lot to get that working, but you know, I'm quite excited about it. So right, we're 20 minutes in. These are sort of like, I'm shooting for 45 minutes. Let me just see, I've got some questions here, haven't I? So what's this? Right, first, when will Beat Sheet Studio? I do have this marked down. So Beat Sheet Studio, I'm not rushing it out because I want it to like be mission critical for live streams, you know, sales calls, you know, all those things where you can't really afford for it to have like a janky, you know, like crashy experience because you're trying to like be a person on camera, and that's really the sales pitch of all this. So the main things, I've got a couple of, I've actually been working through my post-it notes. I've got sort of 3 big ones left. I've got some performance issues that I'm figuring out. I've got the sparkle, which is how I'm going to deploy it. So at the moment you have to sort of like, it pops up an alert in BeatSheet and you have to go to the web, you know, you have to click on the download, you have to quit BeatSheet, you have to like drag it into applications, you have to start it again. I want that to be a better process, and I want it to be like automatic. I'm not pushing this through the App Store for various reasons. And then I've got some UX stuff that I'm just trying to optimize. Like I'm still not 100% happy with the way I'm representing like the thing you're sharing. So if maybe I can just quickly share my desktop. I've got this little I'm sort of working on this. You've got like 2 columns. The first one is like the camera you have selected, and the second is the thing you're sharing. And then if I click on that drop down, it's going to be like you can share a camera as a second camera that you'll be sort of picture in picture on top of. You can share different devices, a connected iPad or something. You can share like, you know, you can control Ecamm Live and do all that stuff as well still, and triggers, OBS, OSC, but you can select windows. And I'm just still trying to get this thing right, and I'm sort of picturing this is like my second iteration, second or third. I'm still not super happy. It's also quite like I get the drag and drop of the cards for free, and I'm trying not to lose that, but then it means the way these, you know, if I drag this, it sort of goes a bit weird. Like so I'm trying to like keep the free drag and drop behavior, but have like a more, you know, bespoke, you know, more sort of proper looking thing. So I'm thinking like it could almost be like the Final Cut like range timeline thing, and you can sort of see the icon of the app there, and you can like drag that up and down to like make it sort of span a different range. But it's still that's something I'm still just figuring out. And the other story I'm trying to that's really important to figure out is are we not assiding? Are we not assiding? What's that? Oh, I'm on. Sorry if I made you dizzy there. I wasn't seeing the real preview. The other thing is that the document sharing story, right? So part of the impetus behind BeatSheet Studio is being able to share these documents. So they might have images included, they might have videos included, but there's a little bit of stuff to do to make sure that works really well, because we have to make sure that like someone might have different cameras on their computer, so you share here's the deck, like it's a deck, but you share it with another person, but then they've got different cameras on their machine, like their main camera is a different one. I just want to make that a first class experience, like, oh, I've received this document from someone else on my team, let me just like it's going to have a big thing at the top say, oh, this camera needs to be switched to one that's on your system, or you need to plug it in. This window is missing that you're supposed to be sharing, so just make sure you open that window. just making sure that that experience is properly tailored, so that it doesn't feel like it breaks as soon as you send it to someone else. Because I did a lot of work on restructuring the document format so that it bundles in the assets, and really this is all about like the difference between this and Ecamm Live and OBS is those are they're sort of broadcasting software where you are sort of riding the controls and sort of switching scenes, switching different things. This is supposed to be your content, like your content first, and content that's shareable. So you're not setting up bespoke scenes for specific pieces of content that you're only going to use in one stream. You're doing that in your beat sheet document. And so I'm sort of giving you the tools to be able to do that. So one thing that so that's that, and then there was one more, wasn't there? Video pencil gets set prior to Stream Deck. Can you clarify that question, John Michael? You said video pencil gets set prior to Stream Deck. Do you mean, yeah, just if you can clarify that, because I'm not quite understanding the question there. One last thing I was just going to show was, I'm quite enjoying this. What's going to happen if I unplug the iPad? It survived. I noticed that sometimes I started drawing and then it's like on the stream, it was down in the corner. Like you see how it's like down here because of the aside thing. So I've actually like now on the iPad, if I'm in aside mode, I see what's actually broadcasting at the top. Let's see if we can use the power of Canon R6 autofocus. So you see this thing up here. So if I come out of aside, it like just shows me, because that's the same as the broadcast. If I come into a side, it just shows me what's actually being broadcast. So if I'm sharing my desktop, is this going to work? I think it's going to be quite hard to show. But yeah, just I'm sort of like still making those little tweaks as I go as well, and adding things like the countdown timer. So like something I quite, you can, I've done this little this UI here where you just go like, when does my show start? You just put that in this box, and then when you press play, it's just going to show a countdown timer until the start of the show. So that's what I was using to come into the stream. It wasn't a video; it was just being dynamically rendered based on I'm starting at 6. So that's something else. So yes, as I said, timelines, Beat Sheet Studio. Thing is, we've got some life stuff happening. So we're moving to Edinburgh from London. We were supposed to move at the start of July. Some stuff happened. It's got more complicated. So basically, I'm just wondering. I want to be able to kind of consistently talk about this, but currently I have a very stable place to broadcast from, and I know the internet connection. I've got my big camera set up and my teleprompter and all that stuff. I don't. I sort of want to know what that date is, because I was trying to push it for the end of this month because we were going to be out the house, but actually now we're not. So maybe that's meant that I've spent a bit more time on some polish, where maybe I could have just skipped that and pushed something sooner. But I do want to get the alpha, like the beta, out by the end of the month. So if you are interested in giving this a go, I haven't put, before a post-it note that's not here is the, like, how to, the billing. It's going to be, I know the price. I got the website, like the website is up, like beatsheet.studio. You can see that now. You can see what the pricing model is going to be. But for beta, like, I haven't actually implemented that yet. So you'll just be able to like try it out and sort of get going with it. So let me know, michael@squares.tv, if you're interested in just sort of like having a bit of a preview of that. And yeah, so if you've got any questions on Shoot, Video Pencil, Beat Sheet, speak now. Or, yeah, so time to get off topic. We've got like 15 minutes ish still. We don't have to use the whole thing. So, right, add to broadcast. Off topic a bit here. It looks like the real-time Video Pencil output through Ecamm Live still has bloom when drawing. It's thinner for half a second before the output matches the iPad output. This is like, so first I will give you, not to make excuses, I'm going to tell you why this is happening and why it's like, and the trouble is, like, when I'm using it, I don't see it. So it doesn't never. I always forget that this is happening for some people. Every time I see John like doing his coffee demos, I see these big thick lines coming through as he's using it. Basically, like the way the drawing engine that I use to make the beautiful drawings in Video Pencil is an Apple framework that just gives you, you tell it what drawing tool you're doing, and it sort of does these nice, you see these sort of like tapered lines, and it's sort of all very nice. But I can't I can't access that drawing until you've lifted your pen off the iPad. So if you were involved in the first versions of Video Pencil, you would have been, I had some complaints. Oh, it's a bit laggy. No, it only updates the broadcast when you lift off the pencil, and it sort of got the image and it can show the drawing. So what I've had to do is so Apple is monitoring your drawing with your Apple Pencil or your finger, but now I've got a layer on top that's also like tracking your finger movements. So it's like intercepting those gestures and making sense of them itself so that it can like track a path, the same path. And that's why like it's never quite as, you see the preview is never like nice like the final drawing. It's a bit sort of jaggier. And I got it the best I could, but like it's not got that like varying width, and if I'm pushing down, like it's not getting thicker. And because basically like there's quite a lot of Apple magic going on to make this drawing experience super responsive, super real time. And I like I'm sort of I'm having to re-implement some of that myself, but like that means I'm sort of having to reverse engineer how they do it to try and match it as closely as possible. So what the halo is like, I haven't found 100% reliable way to get what the line width should be. It seems different if you're using a finger. It seems different depending on the pen width you've got. So I've got a calculation in my code that says like how thick should this line be, and it's like it's actually like close enough when I'm using it, but some people, I don't know what the setting is that they're using, if they're using a thinner pen or a thicker pen, or they're using a different pencil or something, but it's giving you this massive thick preview line that sort of appears like a halo. So that's the reason that's happening. And the reason that it's not been fixed is that it doesn't happen to me. So the best way to get this fixed is like send me an email to michael@squares.tv, and then like if I haven't done it, like a week later, send me another email saying, have you done this yet? And just bully me into sorting it out. Because every time I try and do like a roadmap or some sort of organize my my output, it sort of works for a bit. But please just feel free to reach out and just like and badger me about that, because the reason it's not been fixed is like not many people have bothered me about. So I was like, maybe it fixed itself. Next question I saw. So for Stream Deck on the Video Pencil, we select our pencil, stroke, and color. Yeah, so you configure your pencils on Video Pencil, like where you're drawing. So you can tap on the tool, and that will put a little menu up, and you can select the color, you can select the thickness, and then basically it just means when you select pen number 1 in the Stream Deck plugin, that's what is going to show up on your Stream Deck pad. And then if you change the settings on the iPad, that's going to be reflected on your Stream Deck as well. So like if I change number 5 to blue, then it's going to be blue on the thing. So yeah, that's how that works. Thank you for saying that you love Video Pencil. Hey, people love Video Pencil. Available in the App Store. Squares.tv/Video Pencil. Okay. And thank you. Appreciate the thumbs up from Tim as well. So let me see. I don't see any hands up in Zoom. I don't see any more comments. I'm quite pleased to have like a handful of people today. What have we got? Like we've got 10 or so on stream, and then we've got like 9 or so on Zoom. So I'm happy. This feels a bit less lonely. I've been forced by I've been forced by the office hours weekly. I really didn't feel like doing this today. And I was like, am I going to make an excuse or am I just going to do it? I always enjoy doing it. I always hate the build up to it. But like, this is why, I've made these tools, like I'm planning it. I plan it out. It actually is really quick to get the session planned out, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that looks like enough content for this week, and it's such a difference from the live streams I used to do, where I just like you just wouldn't know what you were getting. Like I might just be working, I might be playing music, and I'd never like planned it, so then I didn't know what to email people about. But this the gang is all here. This is yeah, like office out, doing this for like 22 weeks has, and knowing that feeling the fear of judgment if I don't do a good job, because I've literally got people on Zoom in a Zoom window, like looking at me, and they'll say something, and they know loads about this stuff. It's helped train me to have a bit more discipline about streaming, and this is my first attempt to try pushing it out. I've pushed it out on the beat sheet. I don't know if this is the right channel to push it out on yet, but like I'm glad a few people found it. The mailing list is getting up to like 3,500 now, so though it feels like people are seeing it. If you missed this one, if you're watching the playback, just like if you can, I don't know if I'm going to use a recurring YouTube event. I think there's a new event, but if you subscribe to the Beat Sheet channel, you should and click the bell, you should get like a notification when it's going to start. And you can also, when you get the email, if you click through to the video, then you can like tell it to tell you when it's live, or you can just like leave it in a window or something. So yeah, this is an experimental, more professional attempt at live streams. But please, like I would like to be able to answer questions and help people do things. I will listen to a question from Mandy. The stream won't hear this, but yes. You're welcome. Okay, so Mandy was asking about how to get started with So is it more Video Pencil that you're talking about? Yeah. No. So this is what this is about. We're talking about Video Pencil. So the question is sort of how to get started, and there was two angles to that. There was the like how to do it on Zoom and like live streams. And I assume, are you on a Mac? Because you said also like how to do it on Windows. Okay. So this is like, okay, cool. So on Windows, how do you get Video Pencil into your stuff? So on Windows, you like I've done, because that's where my software development expertise is, and it's really hard to do stuff on Windows well. But for Windows, what you're going to need to do is get OBS and just basically set up a scene in OBS with your webcam and then an NDI layer on. So you need to install the NDI plugin, and Video Pencil will send out an NDI feed. I think I have a video demo on this. Sorry, my mouth is drying up. There's a tutorial on how to do it in Windows, but the process is, yeah, okay, let me just, okay, so if I just clear that, right, so what you're going to do is you're going to have your iPad, and then that's going to be sending out an NDI feed, and that's going to have that's going to have like the contents of your drawing. And so on Windows, you're going to need to set up OBS, which is a free app streaming software, and then that has a plugin. I haven't tried it on Windows, but like there's an NDI plugin that can receive this NDI feed over the network, over the Wi-Fi, over like however you got it. You know, they should be on the same network. Then in OBS you can say, so you can set up 2 layers. You've got your video pencil layer, which is going to be that drawing, and then you're going to have your webcam. Oops. I need like some like diagonal like templates, don't I? So you're going to have your camera feed, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to set that up to send back to Video Pencil. So in Video Pencil, you can select any nearby NDI feeds. So if you set in OBS like your camera to be that, and then you set the NDI output to go into a layer in OBS. So you've just got these 2 layers. It's flickering weirdly. I think my computer is about to melt. And then you'll just take the virtual webcam out of that. So OBS has a virtual webcam. Oh no. Okay, let me just have I got a memory leak? Okay, we'll be quick. Yeah, you'll set up a virtual webcam which will come out of OBS, which is what you'll then access in Zoom. You'll just select that in Zoom. Let me I'm just going to go dark for like 20 seconds. Okay, battle testing beta software. So yeah, so the short answer, so you need OBS, and that's a virtual camera which will be available in like Zoom, and you'll take you'll take the transparent layer from Video Pencil, and you'll take your camera, your webcam from your computer, and you'll sort of you'll pipe over NDI the Video Pencil thing. So honestly, like, I don't love how complicated that is, but NDI is a standard. If you go onto squares.tv, I think I have a video somewhere, but how do I share a video? There is a video on this. If you go onto squares.tv/video pencil, there is I think there is one that says like instructions on connected to Windows. Should we just confirm that by coming here and going share desktop and going squares.tv and going Video Pencil, and then making that bigger. So this has how to connect to OBS. All right, let me if you get on the Discord and drop me a message, let me just like try and find that video, and I'll do that offline. Okay, but thanks for the question. That was yeah. I'm glad to. It's interesting. I forget about Windows users sometimes, but like there is a reasonably good. Maybe I can even make an OBS document that you can like send out. Okay, cool. I will echo that Mandy said that was helpful. So good. Glad to hear it. John says, I got Video Pencil, Beat Sheet and Shoot. I haven't been able to understand Shoot other than another camera. Is there benefits to Shoot? There's lots of benefits to Shoot. The main, I mean, there's a lot of things like, so Shoot, Apple came out with continuity camera. It used to be the easiest way to use your phone as a webcam. Like you just like plug it in, or your AirPlay, or your HDMI out. Now Apple have made that slightly easier with continuity camera. So what Shoot is a much more controllable version. So you can, and I actually find I always want a bit of control whenever I'm using my phone as a webcam. I always want to like zoom in a little bit, like, and just to crop out. If I've got a background, like I just need to crop in a little bit, or my brightness. So with Shoot, you've got all these kind of like remote control options. You can zoom in, you can set the color, you can switch cameras and do all that remotely. You can do presets and stuff like that. It's also got a built-in telestrator, like some people get very excited about, where you can draw on the feed just directly in there. That's sort of where Video Pencil came from originally. And then like, what was the other thing? Yeah, and then the other thing is like it just integrates with all my other stuff now in a really seamless way. So if we look at if we look at this is the sidebar of Beatsheet Studio, and this is where I'm really taking it to the next level. This is the sidebar of Beatsheet Studio. If I like take my phone, launch Shoot, and put it back on its tripod, even though the tripod's sort of like stuck behind the laptop. How's that? Let's do that. Okay, so now you see Shoot has appeared just like seamlessly as a camera source here. And it's also given me a choice of the different cameras. It's given me the zoom. So if I click now on here, the camera you're seeing in the overlay, so you're seeing me in the corner, is now Shoot. So I can like adjust the tint and sort of like make it a bit, I can make it cooler with the white tint. So already that's kind of a cooler looking image. I can like zoom in. I can do face follow. So if I'm in picture in the corner, I can I can flick this switch, and now it's going to like keep my face centered in that circle. And it's also going to let me switch to different, like, the back camera. Let's see what, I don't know what you're going to see, but yeah, we can switch to the back camera. But also, like, I've got, stuff like, here's a virtual green screen. So this uses the depth camera in Shoot, and actually, like, Beat Sheet will let you like say that this is a green scene. And now we've got, this isn't going to be quite good because I've got to like set the camera is like fighting with other equipment. But you see now we've got this new this sort of overlay mode for Beat Sheet. So I can, like, if I come out, I can come back. So I'm sort of overlaid over my content a bit bigger, or I can sort of like switch back to my normal camera and be in a circle again. So basically it's like there's the ecosystem benefits where everything's like connected. I've got all these protocols, they connect. It works as, if you're using Beat Sheet, it will put the teleprompter up on the iPhone screen. So if you don't have like a big rig for doing that, then you can just do it sort of with your laptop and your phone and your iPad. You can actually be like doing teleprompter based stuff without a load of extra equipment. So just go to shootpro.app or squares.tv/video shoot squares.tv/shoot, and like there's a web page. I think it's a fairly good summary of everything that Shoot does. And a cool thing was like Ecamm made it was sort of like how to use your phone as a camera in Ecamm when, in the early days. And that's how I discovered Ecamm, because lots of people were telling me they were using it, and they made it like show up instead of as like a connected shared screen share like Zoom would. It would show up as like a camera. So, and it would behave the same way as a camera in Ecamm, and it still does that. If you connect over USB, it just behaves like a camera, because they've gone, oh yeah, Shoot exists. So yeah. And also yeah, coming soon, Shoot Kit. I haven't got any, like, I'm working to sort of get the Shoot camera integrated in some other apps, and we'll see where that goes. But I've open sourced a project that lets you connect to Shoot. So if anyone knows anyone that's got any video streaming software that could benefit from that sort of plug and play experience that I just, that completely seamless experience of bringing in your iPhone as a webcam that I just showed you, and have all those manual controls, I've got that as an open source project. So I'm looking for like like a Windows developer to port it for Windows and put it into OBS on Windows. Like that could happen now. So yeah, and also that it works with Video Pencil. So I'm hoping soon to be able to say to Mandy, like, just get the plugin and it will just work. So, but I need to find some keen Windows developer who wants to look through my Mac source code on GitHub and just figure that out. I see a hand up. John, do you want me to, like, should we try mirroring you in for your question? Okay, all right. No. So Right. So John, yeah, like it goes quiet on the stream when someone's. So John, you were asking, like, can I with Google Sheets set up different, like, like what are my different lower thirds for this show? What are my different images for this show? And be able to share that between different people, have different. I mean, you've just described what BeatSheet is. Like BeatSheet is the Google Sheet, right? Like BeatSheet is where you go. Here's the run of show. Here are the lower thirds. You share that document, and that's how you do it. So like that I mean that's the vision for BeatSheet. If there are if you are saying like there is some advantages to like cloud real time sharing, then I'd like to dig into that with you because um it's okay. So you have your assets. Right. So actually, so John just said like you've already got it in Google Sheets and you just want to sort of be able to take it and drop it in. BeatSheet actually handles pasting in quite a sophisticated way. If you like, if you're in a box, it will just paste it all in the box. If you just like press escape and nothing is selected, if you paste in formatted text, it will break that up into cards. If you so if you can like format your Google Sheet to, especially if you can do it like in a markdown, like have a column that's like the copying column that has like markdown format, a title text and then like what the it can either be the teleprompter text or whatever your lower third text. You can literally just like grab that from Google Sheets, paste that into a beat sheet document, and it will just like transform that into the lower thirds. So maybe we can maybe I can like put together a tutorial showing that. But yeah, like under the hood, especially with the like the machine learning, the chat GPT stuff, it's literally taking the text output and turning that into a structured document. So it's like pretty trivial to do that with Google Sheets. So maybe we can. Yeah, you could make a column that's the formula that maybe like adjusts the formatting a little bit to match BeatSheet and just copy that in and paste it, and it will work. All right, we're sort of we've it's been a long show. We're at 55 minutes in. It is my partner's birthday, and she is waiting for me at home, so it is time for me to leave. Thank you everybody for joining today. It's really great when I get to do this with company and friends. Like I like to do it. It makes it all feel worthwhile. Please feel free. Like I'm on Discord, I'm on email. Just if you've got questions, if there's some gap in the documentation, if something's acting weird, it's probably not you, it's probably me. Like I'm building all this myself. Feel free to reach out. I'm available. And I hopefully will. I don't want to promise this is going to be every week yet. It's certainly every week on office hours. But I think this was all right. I think we need to maybe like I think there's going to be quiet spots on the YouTube output because of the questions, but we'll see. We'll see how it feels. Maybe I'll watch it back. Maybe I won't. All right. Let me know like in the comments on YouTube how that felt because I was like sketching along to try and at least have something happen while I was listening. Okay. Thank you everybody again, and I will see you next time. Cheers.